Hello! Gosh, it's great to be in my room for once. Or maybe now I'm in my room?
Or maybe this?
Confusing, isn't it? Well, I suppose it's a good thing that today we're going to be talking about what just happened. Well, kind of. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself the big question, what is reality? If I'm being honest, I have no idea. But with the introduction of VR and other new technologies, it has become harder and harder to distinguish, in my opinion. According to Google, the actual definition of reality is the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. So that would mean that all forms of virtual reality isn't real, right? They're all just places made up using artificial and technological means. God, I'll be honest, that's all too confusing for me to think about right now. You know what? I have a better idea. Let's break this down into a simple statement. The idea of reality and immersion, as we have traditionally known it, have been changing with the new and upcoming technologies. Sounds much easier to digest, but it's true. We have already previously discussed how great VR can be and some of its uses, but today I want to focus more on the gaming side of VR and how new and immersive experiences have opened the gaming world to a whole new set of wonderful things. VR headsets are so easily accessible these days. One of the key factors in this change is the prices. Over the past few years, headsets have gone from costing you thousands of dollars plus an arm and a leg to only around $400 AUD. Now, that's still quite a high price, but get this. According to a paper I found in the Science Direct, VR sales have increased from a whopping 1.5 billion USD in 2017 to 9.1 billion USD in 2021. So not only are they slowly becoming cheaper and more available, they've also become totally portable. Let's take my Quest 2 headset for instance. If I wanted to, I could run it through my beefy PC with a cable, but I also have the choice to unplug it and use it literally anywhere, no strings attached. This means I can quite literally immerse myself in the virtual world wherever and whenever I want to. If I'm bored of what I'm currently doing, I can chuck that headset on and go straight into VR. As long as my battery isn't dead, of course. So that's great and all, but how does this actually relate to gaming, you might be asking? Let me help you out with that one. According to the education ecosystem, the first idea for VR games came out in the 1980s when Space Harrier 3D was released. They used Sega's VR-powered shades, which I can only assume is like going to see a 3D movie and putting on those fun little glasses. But since then, technology has developed VR headsets with trackable hands and now trackers for your whole body. Once you put the headset on, you get to immerse yourself in a whole new world. You can cook, you can drive a car, you can fight your friends in a Spartan arena if you really wanted to. The sense of immersion within the games is far different than looking at it from on a monitor per se. You physically become a part of the experience. I read a paper recently that dives deep into how VR immersion differs from watching it on something like a monitor. One of the statements it made really stood out to me. To make possible a synthetic 3D world, it is necessary to understand how human beings sense the world. The paper then made some really interesting points on how we as humans use a lot of audio cues to help us define our physical space. So if we cut back to my headset really quick, on each side of my headset there is a speaker. This gives me full 360 surround sound audio. This means if I have a friend talking to me through my left ear, I'm going to hear them in my left ear but not on my right side ear. When you really think about it, it's these small details that can break an immersive experience when in a virtual space. But you can't really sum up VR immersion into one big thing. Everybody immerses themselves differently into the virtual world. Take me for instance, whenever I'm playing VR, I don't wear shoes or socks so that I can feel the carpet of my room. This way I can make sure I'm not crashing into anything when I'm moving around. But others might do it differently, and it's completely up to them how they decide to immerse themselves and what feels the most immersive to them. So at the end of the day, there really isn't one rule that we should all live by when it comes to using the VR world for the best experience. We all use our 5 senses extremely differently, and for some of us, we don't even have all 5 senses, so that has to come into effect as well. Because of that, it depends on the user and how they want to experience VR for themselves. The immersion really depends on how you want to use it and how you feel the most immersed in a VR space when you've got that headset on. Well, this video must come to an end at some point, so before I once again disappear into oblivion, let me ask you this. What do you consider to be reality? And do you think that VR experiences are considered real, or just simply something that happens in a virtual space with its own set of rules? I hope you guys all learned something, and feel free to share your own thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, my little worker bees, have a good one.